Good afternoon, everybody, and an absolutely massive welcome to you, and welcome to Google Digital Garage this afternoon. It is an absolute pleasure to be here for this session. Get started with digital advertising. So we're going to take the next 60 minutes to take you through some really popular ways to be able to advertise yourself online and get yourself some really excellent value, hopefully, for your efforts, and to make sure you're going to be as successful as you possibly can. So please do grab yourself a pen and paper or a note-taking device of choice, depending on your preference, of course. So my name is Glenn, and I am a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. I've been training for quite a long time, so I'm quite involved with digital marketing tutoring, and my background is very much in business management. So helping and identifying really businesses to look at how they can enhance their infrastructure, they can find new ways to develop, and of course keep up with all of the tech trends that are out there for us to really take advantage of, and to make sure again that we're getting the most out of all of our efforts. So that's me. I'm joined in the chat today by the wonderful Na. Now, if you can see the chat, it will be just underneath or to the right of your screen, depending on what choice of device that you're using this afternoon to view this webinar. So please do pop into that chat. You can see it's Na A with a little blue spanner just to the side of her name. Now, she is a very, very experienced Google Digital Garage trainer too. So she's going to be with you for the entire session in the chat. You can say hello. I'd love it if you would say hello. Say hello to me. Say hello to Na, as I can see a couple of people are starting to do. Please say hello to us and ask questions. There may well be some topics that you're acquainted with, or some questions that come up as we work through the material this afternoon, as we work through content. There's a lot of it. So again, with your note-taking device, ask any questions that you've got. There are a couple of pauses for questions. Nard's going to answer most of your questions as we go along, and I'll keep an eye out for any questions in the pause for questions breaks. So, okay, before we get started, we will just do a couple of pieces of housekeeping. If you're having any difficulty with the sound or the vision on the live broadcast, this is a live broadcast that you're on right now, live on YouTube, then refresh your browser and start again. That should hopefully clear up any issues that you might be having. I can see quite a few hellos coming in. I'm going to say hello to everybody. There's quite a few, and I don't think I'm going to get through them all, but it's lovely to see you all here. So now you're acquainted with the chat, keep using it, keep saying hello. Let's all learn from each other. Let's all be a community, and let's help each other to learn and to grow and to make the most of this live broadcast. Now, this is part of a wider offering of courses that are available on the Google Digital Garage site. So I'm going to ask Na to just share the link for the Google Digital Garage site. It's probably where you booked up for this session, but nonetheless, it doesn't hurt to share the link again. So book up for as many sessions as you would like to across such a range of topics that we have on there now. Lots and lots of fantastic content. There are some training courses. Fundamentals of Digital Marketing would work fantastically with this module that gets started with digital advertising. Gives you a great broad view of digital marketing and the key areas to look out for to make sure, again, that your efforts are being really utilized along this field. So the Fundamentals of Digital Marketing is a fantastic course. You'll also find some of our live events there. So if you're a small business owner, you can actually sign up to some of our face-to-face events that are going on around the country. So really worth having a look at that. And maybe we'll see you there live face-to-face. Obviously, I can't see you this afternoon. So again, as I've mentioned, please just keep interacting with us in the chat. I'm going to try and keep up with that as best I can whilst running through. It's quite a busy session, but Na will be there with you all of the way through. Okay, so now that we've done, actually what I will mention is if you can't see the chat, then why not log into your YouTube account, and then that should bring the chat to the forefront for you. If you don't have a YouTube account, sign up for a YouTube account. It's minimal information and a few clicks, and this session will then become part of your history so that you can rewatch it. And you do have 24 hours to rewatch this session at your convenience if there are any sections or areas that you'd like to revisit and go over again. So get a YouTube account here, you haven't got one, sign up and use your history function. Lots and lots of great features on YouTube too. So let's have a look at what we're going to be covering today. We are going to be covering the 3 following areas. We're going to be looking at search advertising, which essentially, is being there when your customers are searching for businesses like yours. We're then going to look at display advertising and how that, again, could help us to grow and to extend our reach. And then we're going to be looking at social advertising. So that's engaging with our customers and potential customers, of course, on social networks like Facebook and Instagram and X and any of the others. There's so many of them out there now that you can link up with. Okay, so that's our agenda for this afternoon. Now, before we do get going, I'm going to remind you of another service that we do have available. This is for small businesses or charities that are based in the UK. And it's a mentoring service. It's available at g.co/UK mentoring. So please do, again, Nar will send you that link through. So it's g.co/UK mentoring, and you can sign up for sessions. You get a form when you go through on the link, and you can then have an hour session with a digital expert like myself, like Nar, many of us there and ready and waiting to run through any digital challenges that you might have. So be very clear about what it is you'd like to talk about, and then you can be matched up appropriately with someone who really knows what they're talking about in that particular area. So give it a go. Again, fantastic service, Google Mentoring. Okay, let's move into the session and let's have a look firstly at search advertising, and let's look at the definition we've got on the screen. So search advertising is essentially advertising on search engines like Google or Bing. Now, why might we? It's a question for you out in the audience there. Why might businesses like yours, why might you want to advertise on Google in the first place? Pop a couple of those answers in the chat for me. There's no right or wrong answers. It's not a trick question. It's just to get a feel of where you are. And of course, again, for us to share as much information as we can as the community that we are this afternoon. And again, thank you very much indeed for your interactions so far, and a big hello to everyone that's come into the chat and who's joining the session now. So welcome along. So let's have a look. Let's break down a search engine results page, that, or sometimes referred to as a SERP for short, SERP. And this is what it contains. Now, I imagine that quite a few of us have probably seen this in our time. But let's break it down and make sure, because I think there's a lot of things in the digital world, the online world now, that we do take for granted. So it's always worth revisiting, refreshing our minds about what it's about, what it's for, and what you can do with it. So at the top, you've got the search query, which in this case is takeaway pizza. That is also the keywords that have been entered into the search engine. So anything really that is entered into a search engine is a potential keyword. That's really important for you to think about in relation to your business, and again, how you want people to find you online and the words that you use. Then underneath that, we have the paid ads. So again, part of the digital advertising infrastructure. You can see in yellow, it says advert. And if you have a look at the screen, just underneath where it says Domino's Pizza, you can see a little green box and it says ad. Now, when you're bidding on auctions in paid ads, any advertising is either going to come up as ad or sponsored. And it's legally required for it to do so, because people then understand that you've paid for the privilege of being on the first page of the search engine results, which is important when you think about choices and you think about how many pages people might actually look at when they're going through that journey of deciding to buy from a particular place, whether it's a product or a service. We're going to go through quite a complicated but reasonably simple actually journey for all of the factors that influence us to help us make a decision. Underneath that, we've got the organic listings. Organic essentially means that you have a website and you have registered that website as a domain, and it's up and it's out there, and you're enhancing it with techniques like search engine optimization to help it rise through the rankings and to get hopefully onto that esteemed page 1. So organic listings are essentially website listings where you maintain your own website, and through improved quality practice you start to move up the rankings. Okay, so why might you want to advertise? Thank you very much, Rapilla Wong, for your response. The first place for people to look for information. Exactly that. It's about prominence. It's about being there. It's about showing up when people are actually looking. So you've hit the nail on the head, and that is very, very important. So when we get back to the organic listings, although a lot of people will click on the organic listings, it can take a long time for your business to rank on the first page or to rank for a keyword, which is why a lot of advertisers, and what we're going to be covering today, would like to pay for ads on platforms such as Google. That's important to know. Now we're going to bring in a case example as we work through to try and illustrate some of our points and bring them to life. So our case example is Pauli's Pizzeria. Now Pauli's Pizzeria is an Italian restaurant situated in Edgbaston in Birmingham, which is in the Midlands. Paulie he's got some business goals, wants to increase sales, is interested to know how digital advertising can help. So Paulie wants to bring in some more revenue, and he wants to obviously reach more people and keep the existing customers he has, but also grow that customer base and let other people know that he is there. So that's his goal. And it's always good, really good time to mention, always have business goals. Anything that you're doing, have a goal, because then when you start to work towards that goal, you can draw a line in the sand at some stage and then measure how you're getting on, and maybe analyze what you've done that's helping you to achieve that goal. And then you can start to see what's working and what isn't. It's a really important part of the digital marketing process in its entirety. Right, so what we're going to do is have a look at a process for search engine marketing. Now we've got 4 steps. Understand our customers. We're going to find some keywords. We're going to create some ad copy. We're going to put it all together. So let's start with understanding our customers, because your customers are what make everything happen. Really, really key. So we need to think, and again, if you've got a business, if you're working on a business idea now, if you're starting to really market your own business as you've been working through, then you've got to think about who is your audience. So when we're thinking about Pauli's Pizzeria, so Pauli's is a pizza shop, let's say we want to find more people like our existing customers. So they could well be, as an example of a core set of audience for Pauli, they could be students, because it's convenient and there's often lots of deals for pizzas, and ultimately students, I think, are appealing to the fast food culture. Busy professionals, people who might not have a massive amount of time to cook or to prepare food, or maybe they just don't like it and they've got a really busy lifestyle. So maybe, again, they'd be calling up a pizza because it's quick and convenient. And then pizza lovers, just people who love pizza. Of course, you've got to remember different facets to why we might like a particular thing. So think about your audience and think about the different appealing factors of what you provide as a product or service, and why certain different groups or segments, as they're known, of people might appreciate you and your product and service. Also important to this, especially when you look at Pauli's Pizzeria, is the location, because Pauli's is very likely to be a local business because there's lots of competition. It's unlikely that Pauli's going to want to advertise globally or even nationally, because there's going to be a lot of other competition and pizzerias in between him and Scotland, him and London, him and anywhere else apart from maybe a few postcodes in his locality. Now we need to know, and again understand, when we're thinking about our audience, what's important to them, what's going to motivate them to click on our listing, and what features and products and deals do we need to offer to help them out and to get them to choose us. Who is our audience? So like Pauli, think about your own business. And so for Pauli, it's going to be students, busy professionals, and pizza lovers. So try and think, and maybe pop them in the chat as well for whatever business you do. If you do this in the chat, let us know what your business is, and then let us know 3 potential types of audience you might have. That'd be really interesting to know. So who's your audience? Then where are they? Now, we mentioned Paulie's is a local business, so therefore Edgbaston, which is part of Birmingham, Selly Oak, which is another part of Birmingham that adjoins Edgbaston, so it's very close by, and B15, which is a postcode for that area. Now, the importance of this, and the importance when you think about advertising, is how far are people willing to walk? How far are people willing to drive, jump on their bike when there's other competition around? So Paulie may well be appealing to a very limited area, but there still could be lots and lots of people in his area that would do the travel distance required to his shop that don't know about him yet, that haven't used him yet. And that's the point of the advertising, I think, to really, really help ensure that everyone that's looking for that type of service in that area at least has an opportunity to choose Paulie. And that's what you can represent with your business too, when people are looking for your type of product or service. So what's important to them? So when we look at the students, the busy professionals and the pizza lovers, what's important to them? So for the pizza lovers, it could be variety of toppings. So we get some variation. It could be fast delivery for these busy professionals because they're in a hurry and you can schedule. And so therefore it's very convenient. And authentic ingredients, again, for the pizza lovers could be a really important pull. So we'll bear all of that in mind. Start to put that through and apply that to your business and what you do. Who's your audience? Where are they? Again, is it local? Is it national? Is it international? And what's important to them? Why are they looking for a service like yours? Then we need to move into a really important area, which is massive, which is your keyword plan. So we have to start consider creating a keyword plan. I would be really interested in the chat to know who's doing and who's done a keyword plan. We need some keyword ideas. Now, if you're struggling with keyword ideas and ways to do it, then of course you can use tools like Google's Keyword Planner. You don't need to have an active campaign to use the Google Keyword Planner. And it will give you some ideas about businesses like yours and the types of words, or short tail, which is only a couple of words, or maybe long tail, which are the longer phrases that people use to find products. But we're going to keep it nice and simple at the beginning to help you start ultimately from scratch. So a keyword is a word or a phrase, and they're used to match your adverts, your digital advertising efforts, to the terms that people are searching for. So ironically, in the example you can see on the screen right now, on the right hand side, is what's a keyword is the keyword. See what we did there? So what's a keyword is the keyword. Anything you type into a search engine is essentially and could be seen as a keyword, because when you think about why people go online, when you think about why people search in the first place, they've usually got a challenge. They want something, they want to find out something, they need to learn something. There's something on their minds that they need more information on, hence using a search engine. So on that basis, for your products and service, needs to think about the keywords that people will be typing into a search engine to find the product or service that you provide. So to make this a little bit clearer, we've got a good example here, and you can start to see how many combinations could be possible. So how many combinations can we make out of the two areas on the left and in the middle? So we've got keywords that are closely related to the business. So you have to think about what keywords are generally going to be related to my business. For a pizzeria, that's going to be pizza, fast food, because pizza is a subset essentially of fast food, and takeaway, because people in the UK respond to fast food as maybe takeaway. You know, we've got fish and chip shops, we've got pizzerias, we've got so many different types of fast food available. Now, locality, again, you have to think about that. So we've got the postcode. So we know we've got an applicable postcode. So if we want to appeal to a particular area, maybe people are typing in, I want a pizza in Edgbaston, I want a pizza in B18. So those could be the keywords that you start to think about. But on the screen there, you've got B18, Edgbaston and Birmingham. So then you can see how you can start to combine those. You can combine them all with each other. So you can have pizza B18, pizza Edgbaston, pizza Birmingham. So you're combining the first. Then fast food B18, fast food Edgbaston, fast food Birmingham, all the way through, combining all of the words in every way possible. These will then start to form your keyword list. So you can see that once you start to consider how people are typing keywords and thinking about phrasing their searches, how many different potential combinations of keywords there can be. And I think it's really important to try and get as many as you can, because the more things that are being typed into a search engine, if you've got those keywords in your list, then you've got more chance of being found for them. Okay. So let's match the keywords with the business to again bring this to life a little bit more. So we've got a mobile hairdresser, we've got a phone repair shop, we've got a cupcake shop, and we've got an online fancy dress shop. Now, I'll give you a few seconds to have a look at these, but which of those keywords at the bottom fit in with the particular type of business? So as an example, for the cupcake shop in Birmingham, I may well want to go for Red Velvet Cupcake Birmingham. I could also choose best cupcakes in Birmingham. Absolutely. So let's think about the phone repair shop. I'm going to leave it to you for a second, and then we'll go on to the other page, reveal the answers, and then we'll work through a couple of them and a bit of the logic behind them. So, okay. So I hope you're just matching them up now. Match them up, and let's have a look at the answers. There you go. So I'm sure that you have matched a number of those up. So for mobile hairdresser, some of the interesting things to note. Barber Birmingham. So a hairdresser is often referred to as a barber. So barber could be a good keyword to use. Hairdresser reviews, because people might well be looking for the best mobile hairdresser in Birmingham. So reviews are going to help them to find that. So reviews could be a good keyword to use. Mobile salon B21. Salon, again, is another word that we might associate with barber, with haircutting type services. Now, abbreviations can also be used. So for the phone repair shop, we've got BHAM. BHAM is an abbreviation of Birmingham. And then sometimes if people don't want to type in the whole word, they'll type in BHAM. So you have to think about your locality and think, are people going to abbreviate that location as well? Phone repair, again, perfect. Where can I? People are going to ask, where can I fix my phone? So think about all of those combinations of keywords that you can put in. And then you can see that if you're a Halloween costume, that's quite topical. That's coming up quite soon, Halloween. You've got men's Halloween costume, XXXL, include things like sizes, things that people are going to be looking for. And of course, cupcake costume, which is going to be the online fancy dress shop. Brilliant. So hopefully that's bringing some of this to life for you. Now we want to create an engaging advert. We need to bring it to life. We need to bring all of the things we just looked at together. So our adverts have got to be relevant to what people are actually looking for in the first place. And we're going to use the fantastic service that Google Ads provides. So what we are going to do, you can see the fielded example on the right. We're going to build an ad for the pizza takeaway in Edgbaston. We've got an appealing line and description, fast 15-minute delivery, appealing to a particular type of customer. We've then got the offer at the bottom, pizza to you in 15 minutes, or we'll give you a free pizza. 15 minutes is pretty impressive. And order now. So a call to action. That's important. Include the call to action in your advert, because the call to action is getting people to do what they want to do, but that is also getting your audience to do the things that you want them to do as well. Order now, that's what you want them to do. That's probably what they want to do. Order now, it helps the customer through on their customer journey. So let's have a look at the ad headline that we saw. Now we saw that they were talking about a fast 15-minute delivery. That's going to appeal to a set of customers who like and value convenience. Now, when I'm going to ask you to match these up as we go, but I'm going to give a couple of examples. So people who value variety, one of the options there for them could actually be 17 different toppings available. So you've got so much choice if you want that type of level of pizza interaction. People who value an authentic experience. Now, maybe they'd like that live Italian music. So again, it's building up the ambiance. It's making people think and bring all of their senses into play. And hopefully, again, that could be, if they want to take their family, maybe a bit of live Italian music is exactly what they're looking for. And they will come along to your establishment because that's part of your offering. So it's not always just the food. So think about the ad headline to draw in the customers that you're after. Now, the answers that we've got here are people who value convenience, fast 15-minute delivery. Again, 15 minutes. That's optimistic in my experience, so they must be pretty good. Scheduled delivery available, again, for those busy professionals or those people that just need their food within a particular time and they haven't got time perhaps to prepare it themselves. You can see how this is starting to work. People who value variety, those different toppings, and a different deal every day. That could appeal to the students who like deals, again, because their budget may well be limited. Anyone's budget actually may be limited. So on that basis, start to again remember what you can afford to do as a business and what will draw your customers in. And then people who value an authentic experience, then we want the authentic Neapolitan pizza. Again, that's going to make people, some certain types of people really, really hungry because they are that audience. So now that we've matched the ad headline and now we're creating those appealing messages for our customers, we're going to take the next step, put it all together and go into Google Ads. Now, the interface is always being updated and changing, so please just bear in mind that a couple of these screenshots may well have evolved since this presentation was made, but the premise is still very much the same. We go into Google Ads, so I will ask Na to share the Google Ads link for you so you can have a look. We want to start a new campaign. Again, look at the wording, campaign. This is now, this is business. This is when you start to need to focus and concentrate because you want to make the most to achieve the best return on investment that you can. Now we're looking at, there are different campaign types, by the way. So for this purpose, we are choosing the search campaign. You know, there are app campaigns, there are display campaigns, there are a number of different types of campaigns you can choose from now. But for these purposes, we are choosing the search campaign. Then we're going to look. Now, this is why the location thing that we were talking about is so important, because one of the real massive advantages of taking out paid advertising is the targeting options that become available to you. Now, you might want to choose your city, a specific postcode, exactly as we've seen in these examples for Paulie's Pizzeria. You can you can actually find and really define a geographic area that you feel is going to be most appropriate to you and your customer set. So the larger the geographic area, clearly, the more search volume is likely. But again, keep it realistic, because how many people might be willing to travel as far as the whole country? Just keep that in mind. You know, for example, you know, if I'm in Liverpool, then there's no point me looking for a fish and chip shop that comes up that's advertising for Glasgow, because there's one just around the corner, and I'd probably rather go there. So be realistic about what people will actually do and what they won't do. So the location targeting, think very carefully about that, plan it adequately, and again, look at all of the support documentation that's available for Google Ads, because it gives you some fantastic insights into how best to load up your campaign. Step 5, we want to add our keywords. So back to our keyword list, all of those keywords that we've been defining through, we now get the opportunity to put them in, and we can upload that list in a number of ways. Then we want to create our advert, and you get the preview, which is really handy at the bottom. You've got mobile and desktop, remembering that the mobile is the device of choice. So make sure everything that you're doing looks really good on mobile. We can see pizza delivery, pizza takeaway in Edgbaston, fast 15-minute delivery. You can see you enter it into fields. It's very difficult to go wrong because of the way that the interface is set out. You can show a path to help people find you and to help people make that connection quickly. And you've got the description. So pizza to you in 15 minutes, or we'll give you a free pizza, order now. So you see everything that you're going to produce. So that's your search campaign. So you can see all of the elements that we fitted together to get them to that point. Excellent stuff. So that's search. We're going to have our first pause for questions, and I'm just going to have a look to see if we've got any questions. We've got one that's come in from Anjali Makakia Patel. I hope I pronounced your name right there. Thanks very much indeed for your question this afternoon. Is there a demo area? What I would probably suggest, you know, if you're not sure, is there are demo areas for all of the tools on the site. But one of the ways that I tend to research is to see how other people do it. So I would probably say, have a look at the official support site and see what you can find there. Then I would say, perhaps go to your friend like YouTube and have a look there. How do I put together a digital search campaign or a search campaign for, and you can even probably put in your own type of business, and there may well be examples, but how do I build a search advertising campaign? Go into, things like YouTube have so many people on there willing to share their expertise. You don't have to take anything as given, but you can at least have a look and see how they do it. And if you like watching videos and learning that way, it could be a really, really good way for you to pick up the basics, for you to see what people do, for you to just see in action. I love doing it that way, so that's a way that I'm going to suggest that you might give it a try. So I hope that that does answer your question, and thank you very much indeed for sending that through. Okay, so I can't see any more. Fantastic. And thank you so much to Na for all her work in the chat so far. Let's move into display advertising. So display advertising is advertising on a variety of publisher websites. So display advertising is allowing your adverts to be seen by quite a broad audience. It's a bit like billboards, so billboards of the internet, really. When you're driving down the road, walking down the road, and you see those big advertising hoardings on the side of the road with brands you probably recognize quite often, that is going to be the billboard advertising. This is the kind of online equivalent of that. Lots of people will see your ad, but only a percentage of those, again, click-through rates are never massively high, but they do get you out there and they do get you visible. So you can see that they come in all shapes and sizes. They're image banners predominantly, but you can get text adverts, image adverts, video adverts, and adverts across mobile websites as well. Image adverts can be pretty effective in getting people to click because people love the visual medium. And I'm sure we've all seen a lot of these types of adverts. They're pretty prominent wherever you go now. And you have to make sure on that basis that, of course, the thing that you're producing stands out and is really, really relevant and will hopefully stop people in their tracks. Because if we're talking about the mobile device, people are scrolling, and what stops people in their tracks? Something that interests them, something that makes them think, okay, I need to know more about that. So again, bear that in mind, that your adverts need to be able to capture people's attention. So we've already looked at search advertising. So how is this form of advertising, display advertising, different from search advertising? So again, different kind of contexts. Search advertising is focused around adverts, matching those adverts to search queries on search engines like Google or Bing. Most relevant when the primary objective is to generate sales. So if your objective, if your business goal is to generate more sales, as was Paulie's Pizzeria in our example, then maybe search advertising is a good way to go. Now, display advertising, you serve your advert essentially across different websites that are all part of the display network. So you could potentially serve your advert on a news blog, a local website, something that's really relevant essentially to your business, somewhere, a website that your potential customer might already be. They see your advert and think that's really helpful and useful. That takes me from this site, but it's something that I want to do because it's going to be something that I need. So you're being located on other people's websites and helping them mutually, I think, to appreciate the service that you offer, that you're complementary to that website. Most relevant when the primary objective is to drive brand awareness. So if you're building a brand, so if Paulie was building his brand, then I would say doing some display advertising would be a great way to do that. When you're building a brand, we do have a session called Writing for Social Media, which is fantastic. And also one called How to Build Your Business Brand, which is brilliant, which will help you understand the need for brand guidelines, the need for consistency, and the need for people to start to appreciate you, your business, as a brand. So you can book up for those on the Google Digital Garage website at g.co/digital garage. So we can see that there are differences in the types of advertising that we might want to take out. So on that basis, bear that in mind to help you determine what the best campaign type was going to be for you. So we put together a process for this too. And again, step one is for us to understand our customers. There's, again, no coincidence that our customers are first, because your customers make everything happen. Step two, we're going to find placement ideas. What websites do we want to put our adverts on? Then we're going to create our ad and make sure, again, it's compelling and is going to stop our customers in their tracks and click on us. And then we're going to put it all together as we did with the search campaign example. So let's get back to understanding our customers. So if we remember, when we're looking at Paulie's Pizzeria, and hopefully you have now determined a set or 3 different segments of audience that would be applicable for your business, So for Paulie's Pizzeria, students, busy professionals, pizza lovers. So what other websites might they be looking on that they might find my advert useful on? Ask yourself that question. So for Paulie's, student websites, yeah, because we're targeting students, they're going on the website, they might be new to the area, they might be looking for recommendations or ads for local places to eat. Good place to go. Local food directory websites. So again, what's available in the area, what's on offer, what offers are there. It could be a really good place to advertise your service. And food blogs. So a great direct comparison there. We're going to go onto a food blog because we're offering great ingredients, we're offering a great product or service. We might be doing a how to make our food, or the ingredients being freshly prepared. Anything that's going to help our advert entice our customers through and choose us. So start to think in that creative way about your business and how you can achieve that as best you can. So once we've understood our customers and where they might well be, the sites they're on, that's going to give us an idea of the type of website that we might want to put our adverts on. Now, finding placement ideas, again, this has been updated a little bit, but we were looking at the display network now, and that will start to give you some suggestions of where to put your adverts and the amount of volume of traffic that those sites might well be putting in from visits per week. So it helps you to make as an informed choice as possible about whether that site could be suitable for you to place your advert on it. So yeah, look up and understand more about the display network and the appropriateness of the sites. You also do get suggestions, by the way, of particular websites that could be useful or perhaps have had similar types of adverts to the one that you're creating used before that have been successful. So the tool, the Google Ads, is trying to help you as much as it can. Now, when we're looking at step 3, which is actually building our advert, we need to, as it says there, make it as visually appealing as possible. And the example on the screen is worth a bit of a breakdown, because imagery, as we've said, is going to be really important. So there's a great colourful picture of a pizza being prepared. It looks good to me. It's just after lunchtime, but if I was still hungry, then maybe that would entice me to order a pizza. Buy one pizza, so we've got our messaging, get the second one free. So we've got a new deal in there. That's important. Buy one pizza, get the second one free. Then we've got the arrow for people to click through. And it's also been very clear, we're pizza in Edgbaston. So if you want pizza in Edgbaston, we're a great choice for you. So we know then that our advert is standing out, is telling us all of the right things, and it's making sure that we can, when we choose that particular service, click through and get our order in as much, as quickly and as efficiently as we possibly need to. So best practice wise, we're being visually descriptive. We're referencing where we are, the location that we're at, and it's also got a specific offer. So that's good best practice all in one advert. So let's put all of that together. So this time we're going back into Google Ads, as we mentioned, same interface, and then we're going to be choosing, instead of the search campaign, the display campaign, because we're going to do a display ad. Then we are going to do our targeting again. So targeting does play a big part of this too. Now we want to make sure that we're choosing the locations and again the areas that we want our ads to be shown in. So for websites that again perhaps might be locally based, we want to make sure that our audience, if they're searching in the particular radius around our business, again targeting by postcode, we don't want to waste our money, because display adverts are often done on a thing called CPM, which is cost per mil, which is essentially for every 1,000 opportunities that you turn up on a search results page, for every 1,000 of those you're going to get charged. So therefore, you want to make sure that you're, again, maximizing that return on investment by choosing an area or location where people who are looking for your type of product or service, when they get served the results, are likely to choose you. Again, keep it realistic. So targeting, be specific. That's a very, very key point to make. Then we want to find our relevant website placements, and we make our decision, again, based on the type of website. We can go and have a look at that website in real time on a different tab, for example, before we sign up to it, if we want to do that, to check it's right for us, right for our brand, and right for our reputation. Then we want to create our advert. So that's in the middle. We can see that we're creating our advert. Again, it's a nice fielded entry, so it's difficult to go wrong here. It's very systematic. You work through one field at a time. Then you're going to upload your ad assets. Ad assets are essentially the images that you are going to use in that advert. So assets in this case are the imagery. And then we can review and actually publish our ad once we put all of that information together. Remembering that we're going to be adding our headline. So we've got pizza in Edgbaston, buy one pizza, get the second one free. We've got the arrow, which is essentially our call to action to click here to take us to the website to order. Now, what I really like about the image in the review and publish demonstration there is you've got a happy looking person enjoying their food. So what better advert could you have for your food? That's important, isn't it? You want a happy smiling face. You want someone who doesn't look like they're enjoying it. You want to think about the images. You want to think about what you're doing, what you're showing, and everything that's in frame counts. So a happy person enjoying a really tasty, colourful, vibrant pizza. Great advert, great picture. Review it, publish it, get it out there. And it's always good as well. What you can do in Google Ads, which is fantastic, is upload a number of different headlines and a number of different images. And the tool you can set, there are settings. Performance Max is one, which is fantastic, which you can test variations. It's called A/B testing. So again, look up in your search engine of choice, A/B testing, and it will try different variations of the words that you're using, the images that you're using, see which one works best. And then it will start to stick with the one that works best by testing out all of the ones and perhaps then not using the ones that aren't working so well. We as customers, consumers, different colors can really, really help us, different images, just different positioning on the screen can all make a massive difference. So do try and test on variations. Okay. We're going to now move into, because that's display advertising, we're going to move into our next pause for questions. And I'm just going to have a quick look to see what's come in. Okay, so hey, Aldasari, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Welcome along. How does it work when someone types takeaway pizza near me? What are the keywords in this instance? Well, essentially all of them are. Takeaway pizza near me. I mean, they're actually really good for pizza, for Paulie's Pizzeria. They could be an excellent string of keywords. You could have near me. Near me's been used a lot. It's great for local searches. Takeaway pizza, takeaway. All of those could be potential keywords. So the answer is that if you've got those keywords in the back end of your website or website builder, however you've done your website, then, and again, every website builder will let you know how to upload and how to work your SEO and your keywords. So have a look, whether you're on Wix or WordPress, whatever you're on. Get as many of those great examples that you've just given there uploaded if you are indeed running a pizza business. So I hope that does answer your question. And the traffic, how does the traffic work from the keywords? That's from LG Nathan. Thank you. It's matching. So again, in order to be found, you need to really think strongly about the importance of the keywords that you're using. There are elements of AI in all of the tools now, AI models, which are going to help to match relevancy. So the keywords will go in from the person with the challenge who wants to find the pizza shop. Then if you've got similar wording, synonyms, and you can seem to be locally relevant and that you've got the right keywords in the back end of your website, then you can become a result that is shown in the results page. That's it, put very, very briefly, but nonetheless, it's like magnets. The keywords that go in the SERP against the results that are served up, they're trying to match for relevance. The search engine's job is to match your query with something relevant. So make sure that your website and your descriptions and the wording and everything that you've got is relevant to what you think people are searching for. So I hope that that answers your question. We're going to need to get into the last section now because this is a big section on social advertising. So thanks again for your questions. Let's give this section some justice because advertising on social media is a huge thing and very, very popular because there are now millions and billions of people on social media. So what a great way for you to find your customers. So social advertising is putting your paid advertising on platforms like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. You've got Facebook there, Twitter, or X as it's now known. You've got YouTube, you've got Snapchat. TikTok is a massively popular one. This is known as paid social media advertising, as it says there, or SMM, social media marketing. Let me know, are you using any of these already? Is anyone out there in the audience already advertising on social media? Let us know in the chat and let us know your experience of that so far. So why do we want to use social advertising? So there's a number of reasons. Again, we were looking at the difference between the search advertising and the display advertising. And search advertising was when you wanted to get more sales predominantly, or the display advertising was when you wanted to perhaps build brand awareness. So when we're using social awareness and social advertising, then we want to drive broad awareness of our business, because a lot of people are using social media to investigate brands and businesses, and you'll find all your competitors on there, I would imagine. So, again, if it's part of your general infrastructure, look at social accounts as another place that your customers are likely to find you. So for social advertising, we could create adverts with the specific objective to get our target audience to perhaps like our page. Again, have goals. What do you want people to do with your profile, with your page? Now, we might want to drive people who already like our page to a website, for example. So maybe we want to put all of our promotions that we're running, because we saw how promotions work, as a link on our social media profile, driving people through to our website so that they order from the website. So it's good to build an audience before you start to promote special offers. Social networks are pretty busy, I think, to say the least, and there are a lot of advertisers there that are competing for attention. So again, build your presence, and again, investigate how social advertising can best work for you and for your business. So there are some differences, and a couple of these are really important, between organic and paid social media. So organic social media, so same kind of premise really as an organic website. It means that you created a profile and you are posting. You're not paying for anything, and you have a profile. You have to remember that there always comes there's a big difference. Let's just say there's a big difference. One search I would probably ask you to consider would be going into your search engine and typing in organic social media growth, because it's very, very small. And that's why it says at the bottom there, you can only reach your followers and friends of followers. So the potential amount of people that are going to see your efforts on an organic basis are very, very small. And it takes a long time in many respects to build up a good network doing it purely on an organic process. So your content is going to appear in your business profile and in people's news feeds, but in very limited amounts of people's news feeds, maybe even 1%. Again, look at the figures. I'm not really sure as of today what those figures are, but it's small and it's quite minimal. You move into paid social media. So now you're paying for views, actions, or clicks from your posts or from your adverts. That means your adverts can appear in many, 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 many more places and can reach potentially anybody. And there's the difference. So that means, like any advertising campaign that you're paying for, you can reach anyone that you want to pay for, because you have a great deal more of those targeting options available to you when you set up the advert. And that's the key. You're able to target specific regions, locations. It's probably quite important also to mention at this stage that, if you're a business, you don't, and there are, let's say there are over 160 odd different social media platforms available now, but we know about 10, don't we? The ones that are super, super popular, that everyone uses, or a lot of people use, that have got millions or potentially billions of users. That doesn't mean that you need to be on all 10 of those, because your customers are unlikely to be on all 10, or to use all 10, or to pay attention to all 10. And do you have the time to actually create decent postings and strategies and campaigns across 10 channels? Your customers might only be on 1 or 2 or 3 of them. And there is nothing worse, I think, than going onto a website, seeing 10 different social media platforms that are linked, and for the feed to be totally empty in 7 of them. Because to me, that's a credibility issue, and I may not I'll just go elsewhere actually if that happens. So it's really, really, really good to be able to focus your attention on the platforms your customers are using. Find out what platforms your customers are actually using, the ones they're enjoying, the ones that they go to regularly. Then you can focus your best attention for the best quality adverts on those particular platforms. Get rid of the platforms potentially that aren't working for you. If you've got a website and you're drawing in traffic, then you can actually check on Google Analytics. So link your website up to Google Analytics. And we do have a module, again, Google Digital Garage site called Get Started with Analytics that will help you to understand what platforms are working for you and that are driving the traffic through. So lots of things to join together that are going to help you. So we can see that we get some advantages when we go the paid route, because we get more options, we get more click-throughs, we get the opportunity for more text and more of a descriptive representation of our business. Now, not only that though, if you look at this example, this is great because you can see on the right-hand side, the key difference for these trainers is there's a shop now option there. What that means in brief is that if you wanted the trainers on the left hand side under the organic post, you'd have to come off of your social media, you'd have to open a browser, you'd have to go into the browser, you'd have to go to the Adidas original shop, and you'd have to find those trainers, and then you'd have to buy them. Quite a few steps that might well put some people off if they're in a hurry. However, if you're taking the paid social media option, the trainers on the right, you think, oh, I want those, I want them now. You've only got to click on shop now and it takes you straight through to the shop. You buy them in a couple of clicks, you're done. So there's a massive advantage of the functionality available on paid social media. And this example too, again, shows the options that are available to you, the calls to action, the prominence of the advert, the more descriptive elements that make it more appealing to your audience, and thus could make it a more effective way for you to utilize your time, your posts, and drive the right type of customer through to your site, the ones that are actually going to engage with you. Now, where should I advertise? So there are different options and it can be difficult to actually choose. And as I've mentioned before, don't spread yourself too thinly across too many platforms. Now, we've got the steps. We're going to choose our objective. We're going to choose our audience. We're going to create that ad, and then we're going to set our budget. And again, there's no answer to the set my budget. How much should I spend? It's really realistically what you and your business can afford to do. So where is your audience? I've just mentioned to you about using Google Analytics, but also for the platforms that you're on, have a look at the insights or the analytics page, because that is going to give you a great deal of information that you can draw and use. Their age, their gender, the interests, the job, everything that people put into a social platform, you can, as a marketer, you can take out, and it shows up in the insights to help you to match to the right people. So use the insights functions on any of your social media tools. All of the big platforms have really good insights functions. Now, one part that's quite often overlooked that's really, really useful for you too is competitors. Who's doing competitor research? Again, please do pop that into chat for me. Who's doing competitor research? Because it's a massive part of digital marketing and it helps you to keep up. It also helps you to see if you're ahead or behind the competition. It helps you to see what they're doing. And on an evaluation basis, you might see some ads from your competitors and go, aha, I didn't think of that. That could be really good for me to do. And then on the other side of that, you could also think, oh, their advert's not brilliant and I would never do that on mine. So you're eliminating and taking away potential mistakes as well. So do some competitor research, look at what your competitors are doing and how they're doing it. And it's really good practice, I think, to do that, especially for businesses in your local area. Pizza Rapido is clearly in Paulie's Pizzas area as well. So they've got their reviews up on their ad. That's pretty good because I like looking at reviews. I don't make purchases without looking at reviews. And they're a 4.2 out of 5 and they've had 10 reviews. So I would think they're pretty good. I would probably use them. You know, if their reviews were down at 1, I might disregard them and go elsewhere. I've got call to action buttons where I can call them. So if I've got any questions about them or the menu, I can click through. There's also the address. That's going to help people to get to Pizza Rapido. So a useful ad. So again, what would I use with that? What would I take away from that? What would I do differently? A really good way to do some analysis for you and for your business. So you can see how there are many, many ways for you to understand how you're doing. I don't want to underestimate or not mention enough the importance of using insights. So if you've got a website, connect it to Google Analytics and look at what platforms are driving traffic through. Focus on the important ones, the ones that are doing the most, or maybe build campaigns for the ones you feel your customers are on but aren't doing so well. What are you doing that you could do differently? What better things could you do? What do you want to do more of? What do you want to do less of? So here we go again on the Google Analytics. So we can see here that with your website hooked up to Google Analytics, we go to all traffic and channels, and we can see that most popular platforms here. So let's say this business are on all 6 of those: Google Groups, Twitter, Reddit, Quora, Facebook, and YouTube. It's only really YouTube and Facebook that are working in any particular good numbers. So I'd be focusing my campaigns based on the stats on the screen on YouTube, because clearly my customers are liking video content. I might be doing how-tos. I could be doing food demos if this was Paulie's Pizzeria, how I cook my food, the cleanliness. I'm giving people an idea of the ambiance of my establishment. And Facebook, so maybe Facebook needs a bit of work. But do we then consider that perhaps any of the other options are not going to be applicable? That's up to you to decide, but at least the numbers give you a good indication of what to focus on and what you need to improve. So as an example of targeting options, when we're looking at different platforms, so different platforms do different things and they achieve different things in different ways for different people. So is my audience on Facebook? On Facebook, I can get information out like location, the gender and age, the interests and the life events. Think about people who post, it's my birthday, it's my whatever, I've done this, I've done that. That's the type of information that you can get out of Facebook. Then Twitter, location, gender and age, keywords and following, because Twitter, or X as it's now known, you can follow other users and follow their posts and what they're doing, and they come up in your feed. And then for LinkedIn, which is more of a professional business network, then you have differences there. You've got job title and skills, because this is part of the data that you put into LinkedIn. So different platforms do different things. Investigate your platforms, research your platforms, find out what they are good for, and whether they would be platforms that you're likely to find your customers and your audience on. So remember, for all of the platforms, all the stuff you put in is the stuff, the information that can be drawn out by marketers to help you make your marketing decisions. So if we're going to match the statement to the social network, I'm looking for females in Coventry. They like jewelry and have a birthday coming up. So based on what we've just looked at, life events, that's going to be Facebook. I want to target people who live in Leeds and are following my competitors. So following is the important word there. It's going to be Twitter, or X as it's now known. And then lastly, I want to target financial directors who work in IT based in the UK. So that's going to be LinkedIn, because again, skills, job titles, locations are things that you can find on that platform. So there's a lot of thought to be put in, but the more you think, the more, again, you perhaps do some research, look at the support pages for all of the tools that you use. There's a lot of information, but it's really worth using because it's all there to help you. Support will guide you through processes, through setup processes, through troubleshooting, and also use tools like YouTube in order to see other people do it, to see what you can learn from them as well. And again, look at that on an objective as you can basis, things you wouldn't do, things you would do based on how they do it. It's a really great way to learn. So we're going to go into the final pause for questions. I can see that Na's been really busy, and thank you so much for your help today, Na. I've really, really enjoyed working with Na today. I can't see any more questions. So I hope that you've been busy scribbling notes, that you've been taking notes and using your note-taking device of choice, and that you've now got an idea of what you want to do, of how you want to advertise and get your business out there. Is it social networks? Is it display? Is it search? How is going to work best for my type of customer? And you can see that Paulie had opportunities on all of them, on social, display and search. So maybe you want to test them. Now, again, remember, when it comes to budget, there's no how much should I spend. It's what you can afford and what you can feasibly afford safely. So you have to make that decision for yourself based on what's available to you at any given time. Maybe you do your campaigns at times when your type of service or product is really, really popular. So maybe seasonal elements come into it, but choose your timing, and in the lead up to your busy time before that, that's the time to start advertising, to try and build that traffic and build that engagement and build those followers as much as you can. So those are all the things I would like you to consider. The next thing that you can consider is to go onto our mentoring service, g.co/UK mentoring, talk about any of the issues that we've discussed, any of the challenges we've discussed today, have an hour one-to-one with a mentor on screen, and look at things on an individual basis based on your business. That just leaves me to say thank you. It's been a pleasure. There's been a lot of information. I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember that the webinar the broadcast that we're on right now, will be available for the next 24 hours on the link that you came in with, the link that you joined with. So feel free to come back, revisit, and go over any of the points that you want to. Again, do your research, spend your money wisely, and remember to go onto the Google Digital Garage site, g.co/digital garage. Please also leave us some feedback. GOO.gle/digital garage feedback, and Niall will obviously put the link for that in the chat for you as well. So that just leaves me to say thank you very much indeed. It's been great this afternoon, and I hope to see you again soon on another Google Digital Garage live webinar. See you soon. Bye bye.